Today I was the victim of phone fraud. Somebody called saying that they were from my bank, from the fraud department of my credit card, that there were fraudulent charges on my card. He verified them, asked me if I did them, and I said no, and then he said, okay, I'm gonna cancel your card right away, like, I'm gonna help you out, don't worry about it. He somehow already had access to, like, see my transactions on that card, so he went through, like, the most recent ones, and asked me, like, is this legitimate, is this legitimate? I was like, yes, like, that I know. And then he somehow got access to, I didn't give him any passwords, nothing. He, like, already had stuff. He just asked me for, like, normal verification questions. And he was somehow able to access my account, and he wiped my checking and my savings clean. I reported it to BMO fraud, and I'm going to the police station now to report it as well. Just be so careful when people call you. Please, just be careful.
Please stop what you're doing. Listen, please. The scariest scam just happened to us. I'm still very shaken. It didn't even happen to me. Please send this to your parents. If you have older parents, if you have older grandparents, please send this to them or let them know that this is happening, okay? So about half an hour ago, my husband got a call from my phone number. It had my picture, it had my name, everything about it. It was my number. It was like a regular call. He didn't even think anything of it, answered the phone. On the other line was a guy saying he was holding me hostage and was going to shoot me if my husband did not transfer him money through Zelle. My husband immediately started texting our good friend that's in the FBI, and that guy instructed him to keep the guy on the phone and try to have that guy put me on the phone. Like, if he really had me, put me on the phone. So Josh my husband is keeping him on the phone, trying to tell him to put me on the phone. In the meantime, he's also tracking my phone. Well, I happen to be at the hospital because my son had a doctor's appointment. So our FBI friend leaves work and is headed to me to make sure everything's okay. Josh was able to drag this phone call out for 5 minutes, and in the meantime, this guy's asking for, he's getting hostile, and he's asking for the money via Zelle. My husband's like, I don't know what Zelle is. Do you have Venmo? Because he's just like trying to prolong the conversation. He's like, I really need to talk to her. I need to make sure she's okay. After about 5 minutes of this, he still wouldn't put me on the phone, obviously, because I wasn't there. So Josh, my husband, hung up and called me right back, and I answered, and he was like freaking out, right? Anyways, the scariest part of all this is that they call from your number, and they knew everybody's names. So please spread the word that this is a new scam, because it is very realistic. It is very terrifying. And I know that a lot of people would just give them account numbers to get their loved ones back. Gosh, just spread the word, please. Hopefully, if we spread it far and wide, we can squash this and it will stop being.
$106,000 was stolen from my husband and I this past weekend by an online scammer, and we will not be getting any of our money back. It is gone. So this is what happened. I got a phone call saying someone was trying to log into our account and steal our money, and they suggested changing the password. They gave him a secure link to log in, asked for the code, and yada yada. That was their access into our account. So it went from 106 to 0 in the blink of an eye. And we immediately went to the police department. We've been in contact with the FBI, but you don't get your money back when scams like this happen. And we had a pretty rough weekend. We cried it out. We did all the things. I'm not going to get on this app and cry, but essentially, after a bad weekend, this is where we've landed. I know God is always going to provide for us. We have hit our knees in prayer, and I fully believe we are going to be just fine. God never promised that bad things won't happen to good people. Everyone's going to go through trials, but he did promise he will be there with us through the storm. And that is exactly how I feel now. That account was, not going to make or break our life. We are very blessed to have a roof over our head. We have secure jobs. Our children are healthy and safe. But that account was an investment in our future. It was going to help us pay for college or retirement, whatever we wanted it to be. But it was a luxury, not a necessity. We will be okay. But at the same time, it was a luxury that was only available because of my husband's hard work. He worked for years to build that account, and we have a newborn. She's a month old, and Matt has been putting in 12, 14-hour days at work every day to provide for us because he is such a hard worker. He works his ass off to provide for us. And yeah, the sleep deprivation got to him. He got a phone call in the middle of a nap. When you wake up from a nap and you're like, what time is it? What planet am I on? And that's what happened. The scammers took advantage of that. And if it was any other day, probably would have never fell for that. He knows better, but it was just the perfect storm of he was exhausted and didn't know what was going on and just trusted the phone call. And here we are.
The rate at which these scammers actually do their thing these days, I wonder if they don't think. I wonder if they don't have sympathy. I wonder if they do not have family members at all. Because as a human being that I am, the first thing I do is, if I want to do something, I will first of all ask, if this thing actually happened to my own person, how will I feel about it? But it is sad that these people do not have sympathy. These people don't even care about you. The only thing they care about is their pockets. And it's becoming more alarming right now in the US that a lot of people are being scammed over and over again. And that is why when I see information like this, I pull out those information so that a lot of people can actually learn from it. Because I found out that people are actually talking about this, but a lot of people are not even aware that this is still what is happening. And on a daily basis, they still fall victim for such thing. I have other videos I'm going to be rolling out for you guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time tuning in, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And this is just for educational purposes. I stand a chance to be corrected. So feel free to correct me in the comment section if you think anything I'm saying is wrong. But I just want to ask just one question. Is it that these people literally do not have sympathy? Let's get right into this video. I'll be back with commentaries.
This video by saying that this is not my usual content. However, I feel compelled to hop on and share a PSA about a really horrifying scam that is going around right now, and that actually happened to my family in the middle of the night last night. I have seen a few people talking about this on Instagram and on Facebook and in a couple of Facebook groups that I'm in. But it's one of those things that you see it and you're like, dang, that's crazy, but you never really think that it could happen to you. Around 3:30 this morning, while we were all sleeping, my brother and I both received a call from my mother's phone. It was her contact number, it was her contact photo, it was even what was named in our separate phones for her. So in my phone, she is Mama, and in my brother's phone, she is Mom, and it came up as her contact in both of our phones when we were both called. And for context, I live about 30 minutes out from Atlanta. My brother lives in Atlanta, and my parents live also in the same town as me, 15 minutes away, so we were all at separate households. I received the call first, but I did not answer because I didn't hear it. It was 3:30 in the morning. I had my phone on vibrate. I didn't hear it go off. My brother happened to have his phone on loud. He received the call second, and he did answer because he heard it ringing and he thought something was wrong. When he answered the phone, he immediately heard what sounded like my mom, a woman's voice that sounded just like her, just crying hysterically and screaming. And so he obviously freaked out and was like, Mom, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with Dad? What's going on? And then before she could say anything, a man came on the phone and said, I'm going to kill this bitch if you don't wire me $2,500. This man is like yelling over the phone, super aggressively, like demanding money, like saying he's going to murder my mother if he does not get money. The older brother is very level-headed, but at this point he's obviously like freaking out. He had not heard of this scam before. I had heard of it before, but even if I had gotten that call, I probably still would have lost my shit because I'm not as level-headed in high pressure situations like that. I probably would have been freaking out, but even he was freaking out. But he had his work phone on him, so he was on his like normal personal phone, and on his work phone he immediately opened up Life 360, which if you do not have Life 360 for your family and your entire family on there, highly recommend it. It is such a good resource just to keep tabs on where everyone is and making sure everybody is safe if there's any situation like this, or any situation just in general, car accidents, anything like that. Life 360 is a lifesaver. So he opened up his Life 360 and he saw that both my parents were seemingly at home, which obviously doesn't mean that they're out of danger. It just means that he had eyes on them. He knew where they were. So once he knew that they were both there, he starts trying to call my dad's phone from his work phone while he's on the phone with this guy. And my dad's not answering because, again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I didn't hear my phone ring. Nobody's hearing their phone ring. So he's calling me, he's calling my dad, and he's trying to get a hold of somebody to, like, figure this out. After a little bit, he's not like totally convinced that there's no danger involved, but he is starting to see like red flags. Like he hears a baby crying in the background all of a sudden, which my parents don't have a baby. There shouldn't be a baby. There's no reason there would be a baby with them. And so he's thinking, okay, I know they're at their house, so this is weird. Why is there a baby? And then he also realizes that this man has not mentioned my dad at all, which you would think that he would say, I have your parents, or I've done something to your dad, and now I have your mom, or whatever. So he has not mentioned my dad at all. He's seemingly calling from my mom's phone, so he knows that my mom has her phone, and he also knows that they are at home together. So at this point, he decides to hang up. He hangs up the phone because he's like, this is weird. I don't think this is legit. So he hangs up the phone and he calls 911, and they confirmed that basically like this is a scam that is going around. They're aware of it, but they're going to send a car to the house just to drive by and see if everything's okay. So at this point, my brother feels a little bit relieved, but he gets in the car to drive towards my parents' house anyway because my mom and dad are still not answering their phone. He gets about a quarter of the way there, and then at that point, my mom finally answers her phone, and she's been asleep this whole time, and everything is totally fine, which is such a relief. We were lucky enough to have not lost any money in it. Everything was fine. My parents were fine. The whole family was fine. But is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard? I am so shook by it. It is such a traumatic way to scam somebody. Like, horrifying. Like, not only like they ask for $2,500, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much money, and that's why they do it. I looked it up and I did a little bit of research on it, and apparently they ask for that amount of money because it's an amount of money that most people could give up if they felt like a family member was in danger, but it's, you know, it's just enough for the predator to get some money, but it's not so much that it would be hard for, you know, the general population to obtain or flagged by a bank, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also just crazy that they do it in the middle of the night, or at least they did for us, because they do it at a time that, like, number one, you're disoriented and like vulnerable, and number two, like, you're not able to get a hold of anybody that like to confirm that this is happening or not happening. And so it is just like, it's so low and traumatic for anybody to receive a call like that. And I just feel like everybody needs to know about it. And again, I feel like it has been circulating on like social media, so a lot of people might already know about this, but if you don't, you need to. So anyway, I wanted to hop on and talk about it to hopefully save somebody just the mental anguish of receiving a call like this out of the blue. At least maybe now you'll have seen this video and you'll have at least some peace of mind, or just like an inkling that it could be not true. Share this with your friends, spread the word, because this is just the most predatory, low thing ever.
Things are just getting so crazy out there. Now even scams are on the rise. You've probably noticed it now But usually the elderly are targeted, or people that are very inexperienced. But now even people that are tech savvy are getting scammed. I get text messages all of the time saying, hey, you went through these tolls and you need to pay these tolls. Go ahead and click here to pay them. Or something, your registration is expiring. You need to click on this, or something. I mean, there's always something that sounds like realistic or kind of urgent and pressing, and you're tempted to click on the link if you get like a text message or an email, especially. I mean, definitely stay away from those. But even your text messages now, you have to be very wary. Don't click on anything. I never do. I know that if I owe something, I'll get a letter in the mail, or I'll get some other type of official notification, not just a text message. But a lot of people are falling to these, and I see it all the time. You really need to watch out. There's a movie that came out not long ago. I can't remember the name, but it was really good. And it's all about how these scammers sometimes have a big organization and how they are scamming people out of so much money, out of their savings, from their bank accounts. It's a really, really good movie. And if you know the name of it, put it down in the description box below so other people can check it out. I think it was on Netflix or Amazon Prime. But anyways, it's really good. And it shows you just kind of how complex some of these scammers are getting, and just how deep all of this can really go, and the business that they are making out of this. And
So I was scammed out of $9,400. I'm making this video because I don't want it to happen to anyone else. I am holding on to a tiny shred of hope that I can get the money back, but from the research that I've done, it doesn't look like that normally happens. I've filed a fraud claim with my bank, and I guess it takes like 60 to 90 days to review. I don't know, whatever. So yesterday I received a text message from what I thought was my bank, Bank of America, saying, did you authorize these transactions? And it had a $35 charge from a jail in West Virginia, and it had a $9,400 wire transfer. And I responded, no. The first indication that something was weird was that my response went in blue, as if I was sending to an iPhone. Normally, if I'm responding to my bank, it goes in green. And then normally I get an automated response from that, which I did not get that either. But that same number called me immediately after I said no. And I was like, yeah, this is a lot of money, for a wire transfer. I'm sure my bank wants to call me to make sure that I actually did want to make that transfer or whatever. So the guy introduces himself. He says, my name's David Porter. I'm from Bank of America in the fraud department. We're going to, go through these transactions and see if you made them. He said, did you make the $35 transaction? I said, no. He's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and credit that back to your account. And you'll see in your mobile banking, you'll see I've credited that back to your account. And he did. And then we went through some other transactions. He's like, did you make this? Did you make this? Did you make this? And I said, yes, yes, yes. He's like, okay, now onto the wire transfer. Did you make that? I'm like, absolutely not. I've never done a wire transfer in my life. No, that I do not authorize that. So he goes, okay, so here's how we have to do this. You're in your mobile app, right? And he's like walking me through the steps of going to the wire transfer area. He's like, okay, here's what we have to do. You have to, it's pending on my end, but we have to have you authorize it on your end for us then to credit it back to your account. Did I think that made sense? No. Did I think I was talking to a real Bank of America employee? Yes. Did I think he knew what he was talking about? Yes. But I go, that feels kind of weird. And he's like, no, it's going to go to my superior. Her name is Lenaria Moore. We're going to transfer the money to her, and then she will immediately credit it back to you. I was like, sending to a person's name also feels kind of weird. This feels kind of scammy. He started getting aggressive, and I just told you, you're going to be sending it to my superior. That is my superior. This is how it has to be done. I was like, whoa. Why is a Bank of America employee getting so aggressive with me? Literally, obviously, nothing made sense. But I was also just so overwhelmed and frazzled. And I was like, oh, sorry, I don't know. He's like, we're doing the steps the way we have to do them. And I was like, okay. I made the wire transfer, $9,400. I know how stupid I sound, you guys. I understand that I sound like a fucking idiot. He sent me an authorization text message from Bank of America with an authorization number. He's like, you're going to put that into your mobile app. He's like, you're not even going to share that with me. Like, that's how trustworthy I am. He's like, you got several emails from me, correct? From Bank of America. And I did, about the wire transfer. Everything sounded like he was a Bank of America. He's like, ma'am, this, ma'am, that. Like, walking me through the steps on my mobile app of how to do everything regarding the wire transfer. Like, I mean, obviously he has a script. Obviously he is very sophisticated in knowing like every single step that I had to go through. So anyways, he says after it, like the transfer went through, he's like, okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to walk into a branch and you're going to change your accounts. You're going to change your savings account and your checking account. You're going to pull all the money out. Oh, this is important too. That money came out of my savings account. My savings account that I've been building up for the past year. Took like almost all of it. So anyways, he's like, you're going to change those accounts, blah, blah, blah. I walk into a Bank of America to speak to a banker. I'm like, yeah, I just like did the fraud thing. So now I have to change my accounts. And he's like, no, the wire transfer you did was fraud. I don't know. That's fraud. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, we would never do that. We would never call you, number one. Number two, we would never tell you to make a wire transfer to us. Again, guys, I know I sound so dumb. And like, that's the hardest part of this whole thing is that my instincts were telling me that it's not right. And whatever. I'm so depleted right now. I'm so depleted emotionally. Just like everything. Every time I feel like I'm getting ahead, it's like, you know, you get these setbacks, you're just like, why, man? And it's like, you want to believe that people are trustworthy and good, and they're just not. You can't really trust anybody, to be honest. So anyways, I've filed like all the claims that I can. I even went to the cops and filed a claim. You know, the transfer was sent from my account at Bank of America to a Wells Fargo account, which makes everything a lot harder. I just came from a Wells Fargo trying to get them to stop, to recall this transfer. And they're like, well, there's nothing we can do. You're not a bank, or you're not a Wells Fargo employee. Whatever. So I've like done everything I can, I guess. Because apparently wire transfers are instant. Like there's no processing. And even when it's a really large amount, they don't call you to make sure that's what you want to do. Anyway, I guess, gotta make that money back somehow. Anyway, I just hope this helps somebody. I don't want you guys to make the same mistake that I did. So like, just know that your bank is never gonna call you, even about fraud. They're not. They might send you a text message, but they're never gonna call you. And never wire anybody. Never wire anybody, honestly, unless, yeah, I don't know. I'm never going to wire anybody. It's not safe. Why would that go instantly? You know what I mean? Like, no, especially not for that amount. Sorry, I know this is long. If you've made it until this very end, like, please share this. Like, if nothing else, like, maybe I can, like, you know, make some money from the creator fund from this. Yeah, it's been a rough 2025. I'm not going to lie.
I don't even know if I am allowed to make this video right now, but I'm gonna make it because okay. I work in banking. I just sat down with a customer for about a little bit over 4 hours of my day. I work an 8-hour shift. I just sat down with a customer for about 4 hours. So half of my day's work. It is 3:30 p.m. and I am now about to go for lunch, okay? Because I've had this woman since 11 o'clock this morning. There is an epidemic of scammers going on right now. where customers are getting calls on the phone or text messages where they say, oh, somebody attempted to make a withdrawal or a transaction on your account. If this was not you, please call this number. And the customers are calling these numbers. And then the people behind the call say, let me get some information of you to verify so that I can help you secure your money at this bank, at this credit union, at this financial institution. And the people willingly give out their information. They willingly give out their account numbers, their online banking IDs, their passwords, their debit card pins, their debit card numbers, their credit card numbers, thinking that they're doing the right thing, trying to secure their accounts. And they are actually giving all of their credentials to these scammers who are then going to log into your online banking and wire money out of your account galore. And they're doing this telling you, I'm transferring the funds into a secure online account until we can secure that, that the scammers didn't take the money out. We're going to keep it here for 24 hours and then tomorrow we'll transfer it back. Or they tell customers, go into the institution where you bank, make a withdrawal. Do not tell them what you're making the withdrawal. And then take the money to this Bitcoin machine so it could be secured for a certain amount of days until the scammers are out of your account, and then we will redeposit it. And people are doing it. People are doing these things. They're following these instructions. And I know that a lot of people are older and they don't understand, they don't know. But it doesn't make sense. Please, I hope this reaches a lot of people. Do not fall for these scams. Send this to your grandmother. Send this to your grandfather, to your great aunt. They are targeting senior citizens. It's a big thing right now. It's a big thing. And they're convincing them that they're actually helping them, that they're trying to secure their money. They're even telling them that their own banks are scamming them out of their money to take it out and put it in a Bitcoin machine or to buy gift cards with the money. It's a scam. Please, if you get a call like this, if you get a text message like this saying, please call this number, give us information, hang up the phone and go to your local branch and inquire with a banker or a teller or a bank manager so we can advise you so you don't lose your money, because people are losing their life savings. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars they are losing because people are falling for these scams. I want people to please just, if you get a question like this, just go to your branch. Go to your branch, call your branch directly. Don't give out any information. No company, no financial institution will ask you to provide credentials to confirm that you are you. They will not do it. If they're asking for debit card pins, for social security number, for account numbers, it's a scam. Banks, credit unions, they do not ask for that. Please send this to an elderly family member, because they're the main ones who are being attacked and they're the main ones who are falling for this. I don't want you guys to lose your money. I don't care where they bank. Please. Thank you.
Oh, God. Guys, you've heard from different people's perspective and you've heard from different people's example. If we keep pulling out clips upon clips upon clips, we'll still keep seeing a lot that is actually happening. Honestly, I thought that this coming of a thing was really one of the biggest thing in Africa. I didn't know that the rate at which it has gone in the US right now, not only US, in most of these European countries right now too, is quite alarming. It is quite alarming, and that is why every single person needs to be careful. Please, if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, share this video to them so that at the end of the day, they will be aware of what is happening. Tell your old ones in the house that if you should pick any phone call of this, just end the call. To be honest, because you see this phone call alert, it has happened to me as well in Nigeria. Now, let me share my story with you guys. So someone apparently called me and the person said he is from my bank, and I was like, okay, thank you for being from my bank. How will I help you? And the person talked about the transaction that I've been able to do. I wonder how those persons are actually getting all of this information, right? Then after talking about all of the transaction, and the person said, oh, my ATM card is about to be hacked, blah, blah, blah. And then they need the 4-digit PIN number of my ATM card and the first 6 digits of my ATM card. I was like, okay, no problem. I was already aware of this scam alert because I knew vividly that this actually happened to my manager, right? And when it happened to my Zimbabwe manager, immediately he came to Nigeria, he told us, and we were all aware. I have to call my family members, tell them, in case these people call you, you have to be very careful. To be honest, a lot of them are even fetish enough that the moment they call some people, you can't even resist them. You can't even say no to them. You can't even say, oh, hold on, I'm coming. It just looks like they're just going to trap you with their nonsense, right? So when the person actually called and we were on the conversation, I was like, okay. So he said I should go get my card. I got my card and then I started calling the digits. So when it gets to the last 4, and I told him F9, 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 F9. Immediately the person just know that automatically I'm aware of what is happening, and the next thing the person will just alter this your mama. So if you don't know what your mama is in Nigeria, just in form of insulting you with your parents, right? And when he said that, I also insulted him and I told him that it will never be well with him and so on and so forth, and then I ended the call. Now that is one. Now the second thing that literally do happen to people is when you are not contented, because I'm talking about from the Nigerian aspect of it, right? I'm not talking about the US people, right? I don't know if it's the same scenario with the US, but let me know in the comment section if it's the same. Now, when you are not contented, now what really happened to my sister, I think I shared it in one of the videos that I did, was the fact that she was literally not contented. So they asked her amount of money that she has already gathered. They asked her, she said, yeah, she had this amount of money. And I told her, okay, when you bring this amount of money, we are actually going to ensure that you have like 3 of it or 4 of that kind of money. And she was like, okay. And before you know, she emptied her account just because she was waiting for them. They said, okay, come in the next 2 weeks, bring a very big bag that you can actually gather the money, because the money is not going to be transferred to your account. Guess what, guys? She went to that place. There was nothing like that transaction. The people were no longer there. They just disappeared into thin air. So, and when she came back and she was crying, even my mom told her that it was because you were literally not contented. And apart from being contented, I know that most of the things that's actually happening to a lot of people in Africa right now that is making them to lose their money to all these scammers is the fact that these scammers are using what we call juju, like fetish. Like they will make sure they cook their nonsense, and whenever they just talk to you, you cannot just resist them. I don't know if that is how it is in the US, but please, I just want to plead with every single person that you need to inform every single person that you have, old, young, brother, sister, so that they will be aware of what's actually happening, so that they don't get to lose all their savings or to lose every single thing that they're actually planning to use in helping themselves. You understand? Anyways, I really feel bad for these people. I can't even lie. We are all human. We have sympathy, but let me know in the comment section. Have you ever experienced any form of this fraud? What other areas have you experienced it apart from the ones that I've been able to illustrate in this video? Let us know in the comment section so that other people can actually read from the comment section, and also be very, very careful. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And guys, with no further ado, I do like always say in my videos, I'm going to be seeing, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.